Hello, chemistry crew, and welcome back to week 7 of our second segment here. We're going to dive right in. Not much to update on housekeeping. You know that you should be referring to the weekly learning plan. There are some really important resources in there this week. Our Thursday sessions are going to continue, but this week we are going to do our discussion-based assessment. So we won't be meeting at our regular time, but we will continue those meetings moving forward. So make sure you're present for those. I will be holding, as usual, office hours this week from 8:30 to 10:30 on Tuesday and from 1 to 3 on Wednesday. A really strong suggestion, if you're somebody who in our last synchronous session last week recognized that there were a couple of areas or an area of Module 6 that you're feeling a little uncertain on, remember during office hours is a great time to just reach out and touch base on that particular topic. And really, usually a quick meeting can help you get right back on track and feel much more confident. So I encourage you to sign up for those times if you would like a little additional support there. Particularly for those of you who are feeling a little shaky about identifying independent and dependent and controlled variables with labs or with graphing electronically. You're going to be doing some of that this week. So if you'd like some help, I encourage you to look at those particular aspects of our weekly learning plan this week and then sign up for a time for office hours. We are going to be finishing up Module 6 this week, so our upcoming work is going to be in Module 7. Let's take a quick preview of what you're going to be doing. You're going to start this week with the ideal gas law lab, and in this you're going to be taking a set volume, a confined volume of a particular gas. You'll do a sample of air, and then you have a choice of either hydrogen, helium, or nitrogen gas. And you're going to be taking that set sample of gas, a known volume, and you're going to be putting it into a water bath to either cool it down or to warm it up. And what you're going to be measuring as a result is how does the volume change as a result of a change in temperature. Hopefully mentally you already have an idea about what that relationship is between volume and temperature, but you're going to be making some concrete data collection there and then graphing your data and then using that graph as a tool to actually calculate absolute zero. So there is a little bit of involved graphing here. You can graph electronically, you can graph by hand. If you're graphing by hand, it absolutely has to be on graph paper for that graph to work as the tool the way that it needs to. The second thing that you're going to be working on is your discussion-based assessment. So obviously in this module, you've been thinking all about phase changes, solids, liquids, and gases, and particularly thinking about the relationship between volume and temperature and pressure. In advance, please make sure you take some time to work through those discussion-based questions. Some of them are conceptual, but some of them involve some calculations, and you want to have those prepared before you come to your discussion-based assessment. If you haven't scheduled that, we'll talk about where and how to do that. And then your third job this week is to actually get started on your Segment 2 collaboration project. You're going to be choosing one of 6 topics, ways that chemistry applies in the real world, as the focus for your project. So you might choose to focus on food chemistry or biochemistry or pharmaceuticals, maybe on chemical engineering or health and beauty related to chemistry or environmental chemistry. So you're going to be choosing one of those topics. You want to make sure you have your topic chosen before we see each other for our DBA on Thursday, so that you can share what you're thinking there, and you're going to get underway with your background research to learn more about that topic. Let's take a look at the weekly learning plan. All right, so as usual, a little bit of an introduction at the top of the learning plan there. There aren't many new learning targets this week. You're going to be focusing on the learning objectives from throughout Module 6 as you work on the lab and on the DBA. But there are a few new ones here that you'll look at and see are familiar from Segment 1 around collaboration. In terms of the to-do list, again, 3 jobs. I want to point out a couple of things here, though, in addition to what I've already mentioned. As usual, our synchronous session is linked here from last week. So if you missed that session or you want to go back and practice and review further, you can do that. The Ideal Gas Law Lab, again, some reminders about graphing. I have created a short tutorial for how to graph this particular data set in Google Sheets. I've done the same thing if you prefer to work in Excel. So I encourage you to watch those so that you know how to adjust both the scales and the settings and make sure you're including a trend line in your graph. So I highly encourage you to watch those. One really important thing if you're graphing, whether it's electronically or by hand, is you're going to need to change the scale of your x-axis so that it goes from negative 300 degrees Celsius all the way up to positive 100. You again are going to be trying to extrapolate from your graph absolute zero. We know absolute zero theoretically happens at negative 273 degrees Celsius. So you really need the scale of your graph to go all the way down to minus 300 so that you can use it to do that job. You're going to see some more information here about your DBA. Again, make sure that you're preparing your answers to those questions in advance and bringing them with you to your discussion. If you have not yet scheduled your time, a reminder that you can do so in the Canvas calendar. So I'm going to ask you to do that. The times are all on this Thursday, the 11th at either 9:30, 10, 11, or 11:30. So make sure you've reserved your time there. And if you haven't already, if you could also do me the favor of completing the super short survey there to register your appointment time as well. As usual, once we finish the DBA, you're going to need to complete a short reflection. The sooner you do that after your DBA, the easier. That reflection is your entry ticket into the Module 6 exam. So make sure that you have that done. And then again, you're going to be working on the collaboration project. The first part of this is independent. You're going to be selecting one of the 6 topics as your focus area and doing a little bit of background research. Again, bring that topic with you to your DBA so that we have an idea of where everybody is headed with that project. Last but not least, and very awesome, definitely very cool, I encourage you to check out what some musicians highlighted in National Geographic recently did with ice to make musical instruments. It's a pretty short article, there's a short video in it, and it is just fascinating to see what they were able to accomplish. So let's do a quick summary. All right, so this week again, 3 jobs. The Ideal Gas Lab, again, definitely watch those graphing tutorials in the weekly learning plan and feel free to reach out if you need additional help. Make sure you've signed up for and attend your DBA on Thursday. Bring those answers that you prepared in advance with you. And then you're getting started on your collaboration project, bringing your topic of choice with you to the DBA. And again, if you need any help this week at all, please don't hesitate to reach out during office hours on Tuesday or Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you this week. Take care.